Hey everyone, this is Scarlett,
And Jay.
and we are here to spill some convention tea with y'all. Today we're going to talk about our first convention of 2022, Anime Los Angeles.
Yay.
But first, let's get a couple things out of the way. A word from our sponsors. A word from our sponsors.
Hmm?
Uh,
There you go.
okay, tell us about the Magic Candle Company, Jay.
So the Magic Candle Company has been one of our earliest sponsors, especially with my Eat the Magic channel. They are a company that makes candles themed and scented to your favorite theme park scents, including ride scents, food scents, all sorts of things like that. So if you have a ride that's very nostalgic to you, or that just puts you in a happier frame of mind, or you want something weird like Rome burning or pirate water, those are
Yar.
also choices. So you can kind of have anything. They work great for, of course, tabletop stuff if you need like a pirate water smell for pirating, or what have you. And they also work well to just remind you of the better times with lost loved ones, like my love of the extraterrestrial forest, which reminds me of a lost loved one.
All right, YMAC sweater. Get 40% off when you use our code YMAC-Dame Asdabal when you purchase clothes at YMAC. YMAC makes amazing cardigans, so whether you're into pinup, vintage inspired, Lolita fashion, I highly recommend YMAC. Also, we are sponsored by Beauty Bakery. I am an official Beauty Bakery tastemaker, so if you want to use our affiliate link to help also support our channel, you can use our reference link here, and you will be able to find it in the link in the bio section, the about section of this video. So yeah, I highly recommend them. I always use their lip whips for cosplay. Always lasts long, even always lasts anytime I have to wear a face mask. Love these stuff. Also, we have a very special shout out we like to give to Dragon Combat Club. As of this video, as of this recording, hate crime has still been on the rise, it's still been ongoing towards Asian Americans. If you want to help out my virtual dojo, Dragon Combat Club, just raise money helping gearing up Asian Americans for self defense. Here's the Venmo QR code, and $5, $10, or even just $1 will help us help gear up Asian Americans as we're going through some of these very troubled times. Okay, let's see who we are. Who are we?
I'm Jay. Been going to conventions for a long time. If you're watching this, you probably already know who we are. I'll be honest here, but
If it's your first
if it's your
time,
first time, and like Stan Lee's rule about comics, everyone is somebody's first. So I'm Jared. I've been around in the convention scene since the 90s. And I'm still going to stuff. I started going to anime cons in 2001 with Anime Expo 2001. And I am a YouTuber, I am a streamer, I am a everything man of, what's the term? Renaissance man. I am a Renaissance man who finds himself basically doing different tasks every day for all sorts of crazy adventures that I go on.
and I'm Scarlett. I started Scarlet Rhapsody in my college dorm room in 2002. I just wanted to write about cons, talk about conventions I've attended, and I'm still doing this today. This is our next evolution of talking about cons. We still do our typed up written reports on our website, and we decided to just move into the streaming, the YouTube age, as they call it, to talk about conventions and also show you photos of conventions, because a lot of times on our podcast we'll allude to something visual, but now you can see something visual.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've been going on for a while. We've been going from conventions coast to coast. Southern California is our current home base. So yeah, we look forward to just covering more conventions as they slowly just start opening up again. Anime Los Angeles 17. I've lost count of how many ALAs I've attended. I know the first one you went to was 2008 over at the Burbank when you nicknamed it ABBA, Anime Burbank.
Trying to think here.
Yeah, he's trying to math it out. I've been attending since ALA was at the Van Nuys Airtel Hotel, but we took a break for a while.
Probably my sixth or seventh.
Yeah, just kind of somewhere in those numbers. And we skipped out the Ontario era, but we've been there. Well, I've been there for Airtel Plaza in Van Nuys, The 1 year was in Burbank and the LAX Marriott years.
I left partway through the LAX Marriott years and did not return until now, for reasons I'm not sure we're going to get into on this podcast.
Well, they can read our previous reports for that. Let's focus on the now.
Yeah. Although I feel like understanding that while it is a long story, you need to understand that we've had some negative experiences of this convention in the past, which I think definitely plays into how we feel about the convention now, and not in the way you might expect.
So the reason why it's labeled here as Anime Los Angeles 17, they're one of the few anime conventions that words their cons the way the naming convention is like the number of times it's happened. Is this more true in the sci-fi?
Stopped in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, this is more of a sci-fi tradition. It's more of a sci-fi fantasy trope.
Mm-hmm.
So I see this labeling more common in those circles, whereas with anime cons, I normally see like
year number.
Yeah, year number. And I'm looking at the hashtags on Instagram. I'm seeing more ALA 2022 than ALA 17.
Yeah, because most people think that's 2017.
Yeah, like even the program guide here.
I think one of the reasons why that stopped is probably because once you got into the 2000s, if your number could be misconstrued as one of 1 to 22, then it's going to just confuse people. Now, if you're some convention that's been going on since 1987 and you're, God, I don't even want to math that, but number 35, you can't misconstrue that with it being 2035. You'd be like, oh, wow, this is the 35th year of this con.
And we don't know what the final numbers were. I really don't have anything to really compare it to from previous Anime Los Angeles because we've been like almost like on a 10-year hiatus from this convention.
Mm-hmm.
So final numbers have not been produced yet, but I would say if anyone here is familiar with Anime Expo 2001 when it was at the Long Beach Convention Center, I would say it would be comparable to that number. But you're using the entirety of the Long Beach Convention Center.
I feel like they had more at Anime Expo 01, but I can see where you're coming from in terms of the numbers. But we also were using different space. It felt like there were more people there.
AX01 was very spread out with the West End.
Because the hotels.
I felt like if you just compressed everything into the Long Beach Convention Center with that number, it kind of had a feeling of Anime Expo 2001.
Yeah, see, I feel 2001 was larger, but I also realized that was one of the first really large cons I ever went to, so the way the memory is looking at it might be different than what it actually was, which is interesting to think about. And that's just kind of how the human mind works. But I would definitely say fanime numbers?
Yeah, so like, what are you thinking? Like a fanime 2000, like mid-2000s?
Well,
because I thought it was smaller than like recent fanimes.
Smaller than recent fanimes, but fanimes from like 10 years ago?
So like fanime 2011, 2010-ish. Okay, I can see where you're coming from.
Smaller than I feel that even the smaller expos, but larger than your usual ALAs for sure. Definitely larger than, a lot of other Southern California conventions.
And it was definitely like almost like 4 times the size as the last time we attended ALA back in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Easily. Because like it's definitely outgrown the LAX Marriott. And now we're here in downtown Long Beach. So, Long Beach, what's your thoughts on the location? Long Beach
Convention Center has and always will be a massive pain to get to. There isn't like any real good direct road, in my opinion. You can take from the freeway and then you got to go side streets. And if you take the wrong side streets, you could be put on like industrial way and just be lost forever. You're never going to escape. So
I just thought it was just easier to just take rideshare into Long Beach. And plus, there's been reported car thefts during the conventions. Like, yeah, I think we were better off taking Uber into the convention. And we did Uber our way home back in. But I generally like the Long Beach location. We've been there for a couple of conventions, not just Anime Expo 01, 02, and 07, but also for Long Beach Comic Con and Long Beach Comic Expo. Mind you, they only use like a fraction of the convention center space. ALA used the entirety of the Long Beach Convention Center. And I generally liked it. I thought it was spread out enough. I like a lot of the seats, the chairs, loungy kind of sections. Like in the lobbies, there was like all these like small halls where you can kind of like just chill, have a bottled water, just kind of have a quiet moment or two without having going into the quiet room. There was a Manga Lounge, which I thought was pretty neat. Like, oh yeah, I miss Manga Lounges.
Yeah.
And I really like the skyline when it's evening. You can get some really nice cosplay photos. I got some photos with Haley Jen photography as Setsuna Yuki, just getting that like harbor like nightlight, nightlife kind of photos. I just thought it was a very I thought it suited for what ALA is right now.
I like the convention center a lot. I've said that with basically any event we've covered that uses the Long Beach Convention Center. I'm not the biggest fan of getting to the Long Beach Convention Center just because of how awkward some of those roads are, but the center itself is great. It fits events like this really, really well. I can't imagine what Expo '07 was like because would not fit that many people. But, if they currently they're doing good, and if they have to expand, they have room to grow because of the hotels and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go more into like just some of the logistical issues of the Long Beach Convention Center. Like, I posted this meme. This scene is from Last Action Hero, where Arnold Schwarzenegger drives into Rainbow Lagoon. It's an awesome movie. Go check it out on Netflix. And this is where Cosplay Gathering Site number 2 was, and it was funky trying to get there. It's not the easiest path to take, but Arnold decided to just drive right through the lagoon, which is probably like an easier way to get to Gathering Site number 2.
I'm just going to say right now, that's a terrible location. I can't imagine there were many gatherings that had that many people just because finding it after a certain point. If I wasn't walking with you and I had to just go there to meet up with, whatever friends for whatever gathering, I probably would have just given up at a certain point and said, hell fit. And I just would have gone on to like my day.
Like, don't get me wrong, Rainbow Lagoon is great if you want to do like a private cosplay photo shoot.
Yeah, it would be great for that, yes.
But not for like larger scale, like fandom type meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Because like this area is just really funky to get to.
Trying to get to it, yes, is the bigger issue.
So we'll be alluding to this quite a few times because we've actually attended quite a few gatherings over at the Gathering Site number 2. Mind you, very beautiful, but pain in the butt. All right, day 1. So our day 1, because disclosure, we were also part of Anime Los Angeles staff. Our primary responsibilities were like being a part of the ALA Twilight Gala. This gala is run by our buddy Craig Yamaguchi. He decided to recruit us to join in with his ballroom dance staff. We're local. I have experience staffing ballroom dances as early as Anime Expo 2005, 2006. It's very coincidental because Anime Expo, when they were in Long Beach in '07, they used the Renaissance Hotel for the site of the ballroom dance. And I remember dancing with this giant cat plush. It's like this huge Gaia cat plush. There's a photo of it somewhere. It's one of my favorite photos. And I've been having like this history with them helping out with ballroom dances. Like, okay, I'll help you all out. We're local. Let's do it. And then you were asked to be MC.
It's the second time I've done that for them. Last time was Kraken Con, which was a lot of fun, actually. That room was tiny in comparison, but it got the job done, and everyone had fun there. Over here it was great because we had a big stage, so I could just run up onto the stage with the mic. Had to adjust the lights so people could actually see me, which was a thing. I haven't had to do the light adjustment thing in a long time, so that was kind of fun doing that, just standing there and letting the guy slowly turn. I'm like, all right, how's it looking? Like, I can see you. It's like, okay, cool, we're good. Adjusting sound and just trying to be Mr. Get all the lights and sounds to be good, even though that's not even really my job, but I just kind of did that because I have a little bit of stage background in that regard. So I had to run around and kind of take care of that kind of stuff initially, and then my job is coming up on stage, giving announcements, telling people about the Lost and Found, about the costume contest, trying to force Craig to promote his stuff, which is a thing, because he's the head, and you need to be able to say, hey, I'm the head, I'm the face of this organization. Thank you for coming. Also, we have more dances like this. If you enjoy this one, come to our next one. And dragging his butt up stage to have him talk was kind of an interesting little, like, adventure in and of itself. But the one thing I'll say is the rest of the staff are really cool people. Craig himself's cool too. We just give him a little bit of a hard time because
He's our friend.
Craig's Craig. And we had a lot of fun with that. It was nice being the MC. I tried to coordinate a lot of the discussion things when we needed someone else to go up there to talk about this or that. I'm like, we're just like, all right, I'm going to come up, I'm going to introduce the person, and I'll hand the mic off to such and such for this reasons. And because of that, you got to do a lot of mic talking.
Yes, I got to coordinate the cosplay contest. This was like, I think it was my second time in my life as a cosplayer where I was a cosplay contest coordinator. And I think after the convention, I was like, Faye, Jez, I need mentorship to start running these cosplay contests because I feel like I'm at a level right now in my cosplay hobby life where I feel much more confident taking up leadership roles. And shout out to Craig for giving me this opportunity to like just really flex my leadership skills. We were also short staffed because people were dropping at the last minute for a good reason.
Yeah.
And I was given a team of 2 judges. Nagi here, she's one of the maids at Arcane Maid Cafe, and Kira Masquerade, who beautifully cosplayed as a mascot, Ala, in this beautiful ballroom dress that she handmade herself.
Which is nice.
And so we decided, okay, let's just judge a cosplay contest, and we had different tiers of like winner circles. Basically, the way the cosplay contest works, just think of like your homecoming court or your prom king and queen, and we wanted to kind of give the Twilight Gala like its own homecoming court. So we had like royalty kind of titles, and we wanted to just...
You had jesters.
Yes, we had court jesters, because you need court jesters. It's a royal court, right?
I guess. It almost feels a little bit insulting, even though their role in the society was very important. They were some of the first actors and entertainers in medieval society. Some of the most important, I should say, actors and entertainers of medieval society. But at the same time, most people think of the goofy person with the bell hat dancing around like a fool.
But you know what? If you have any ideas of titles for the royal court, drop them in the comments. I'd like to just learn more, so we can make our royal court sound more royal. What we should have done. Never mind. It's all good.
Well, you're always going to have those moments of what should we do for the next show. I, as the MC, already have ideas of how to organize things in a way wherein, one, I always want to hold on to the mic. I'm going to have to make that a rule from now on. I get to just hold the mic. It's mine. If it's wireless, it's mine.
Because it's also a learning experience too, especially when your feet's being thrown into the fire. It's like, okay, we gotta like just manage this, and we gotta lead this, and then it's also turns into a learning experience. That's why, like after the con, I'm like, Jez, Faye, I need mentorship. I want to learn how to be a leader in my community.
And I think you did a wonderful job. I think everyone did a wonderful job.
Yeah,
it turned out really well.
My team. My team was very helpful in helping pick the winners, distribute the ribbons, and also just keeping an eye out on our contestants on the dance floor, because we also want to see y'all dance too.
Yeah.
We want to see you all spirited out there on the dance floor, and how your costumes moved on the dance floor too. Mm-hmm. You didn't know that, but now you do.
So yeah, I'm sure when time comes around for the next dance, you and I will both have ideas for how to improve it. And I hope everyone else from the team has a few ideas on how to improve. And I'm going to say this: if you ever see any of these, I know they have a specific organization. It's
California Cosplay Gala.
Yay, I remembered it.
You remember things.
The California Cosplay Gala, if you see any of their events, you'll know that each one is going to be better than the previous one because the staff really does care. And since we're part of staff, we can attest to that.
Yep. Just a couple other things from day one. I'll show more ballroom dance photos. Prior to the ballroom dance, I just kind of needed a pick-me-up. I was already having a stressful day, and my body was just kind of already de-stressing. It's like, okay, I'm ready to just have a quick meal. I'll just go with a coffee and takoyaki. So Arcane Maid Cafe, they had like this food set up in the entertainment hall. It's like, okay, I'll just grab myself some taro. It was ice Kona latte, which gave me the energy I needed for the dance because I was like, eh. And then got myself some takoyaki. You can see right here, just close up. Just had a table to myself and just waited about 15 minutes for it to be prepared. Didn't wait too long because it was close to closing. Like, okay, I'll just have a snack before the dance, and it was pretty filling and essentially what I needed. So if you're looking for like a small meal or just kind of a quick pick-me-up, I highly recommend Arcane Maid Cafe because oh yeah, takoyaki, I'm down. And here's a photo of you doing your MC thing right here. Can you tell us about your outfit?
So instead of cosplaying, because originally the plan was I was gonna have a co-host. We were gonna go up as probably commanders from Azerlane or something along those lines. And the co-host dropped out, and I was like, well, I wasn't keen on this whole military look to begin with. So then I was trying to go through my character, like, who do I have who's really fancy? And I was like, yeah, not this person, no, not that person. And eventually I just decided to grab my white dinner jacket, and I was gonna kind of do like a James Bond kind of thing, but the bow tie looked goofy. So I changed the clothes around, and then I think my joke was on a scale of 1 to drug lord, how good do I look? But I like it. It's like this pseudo kingpin cosplay. I kind of dig it.
So yeah, these are just kind of some close-ups of our winners. So when people were coming up, we were taking photos of their costumes just to kind of keep track of like, all right, who should we look out for? So we have Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle, Daisy and Peach. I like these
they
two.
Were awesome.
Yes, I really like seeing them on the dance floor, and they were just dancing with one another and just like seeing their hoop skirts just like was pretty awesome. Trust me, I've danced in a hoop skirt before when I was cosplaying as Shadow Yukiko at Katsucon's ballroom dance. Like, yeah, this is kind of funky. And then my friend was cosplaying as the princess, I forgot her name, pink-haired chick from Kogias. And we were like, okay, we're trying to dance, and both of us have hoops. We were trying to dance with each other, and both of us had hoop skirts.
And your arms weren't long enough.
And that's when I decided, like, okay, next time I'm rolling a ballroom dance solo, I'm cosplaying as Lady Oscar.
Yeah, but see, if she was cosplaying as Chie, it would have been fine, because Chie doesn't have, like, a super hoop skirt danciness. She would have, like, something significantly more toned down. It's just two hoop skirts together. You better have, like, super Stretch Armstrong arms, because otherwise you're going to have some trouble.
Yeah, also closer look at our winners. This is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Yami Yugi, and this beautiful Princess Serenity. It's like, yay! And just a couple more. Let's see, we have Persephone from... dang, the name escapes me. I know it's obviously Greek mythology. It's the one webcomic that's been recommended to me. Now it's in book form. Like, oh, dang, I forgot the name of it. It's just Greek gods and their daily lives. And then we have Formal Albedo from Genshin. A lot of Genshin entries, a lot of interpretations of, formal interpretations of Genshin characters, which, like, yay! There's a lot of Genshin at this con. And also another costume that I wanted to mention is this formal Momo from My Hero Academia, because I love My Hero Academia, and Momo's the best girl. And this was our winner's circle up here. There's me announcing the winners. I was cosplaying as Ningguang. Because we had some delays and we just kind of like had some issues going on, I just hastily put on Ningguang. It's like, yeah, like I'm just gonna wear this for the ball, and like I'm not gonna do like any formal photos or anything. But it was really fun to cosplay as Ningguang, because I actually danced with a Zhongli cosplayer who ended up being our hotel roommate, which was fun. And I actually got a comment from someone like, yeah, I mean, it's totally it's totally on brand for Ningguang to like just be hosting the ball or like hosting the cosplay contest. So I had like a lot of fun just being MC, you know? MC of the contest.
Yeah.
No offense. All right, but yeah, that was our day one, just mostly spent at the cosplay ball.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Got to the con a little later than I think we had originally planned, but everything worked out. That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
I was so nervous. I was like, oh God, what if the line for grabbing our badges is too long? What if security is too long? And we're sitting there running in at like the last second for Craig. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to let him down. Because that was kind of my thing. I had 2 major events that I was involved in. And my biggest fear was just letting everyone down. And spoilers for when we get through day 2, but I didn't let anyone down. Even though there were other mitigating circumstances that caused issues, everything worked out.
Yeah, just getting our badge we didn't run into like any major issues. You're able to show your vax card. I was able to show them my vaccination Word PDF document on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild adventure. But we got through registration, picked up our badges, picked up our lanyards, picked up our programming guide, and yeah. All right, day 2, we got to see ALA by daylight. So you can kind of see here the convention. You can kind of see like. So story time here. This is a photo of everyone just trying to gather outside the convention center when someone pulled the fire alarm.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna.
It's not an anime convention until someone pulls the fire
I was
alarm.
gonna say it's not an ALA until someone hits the fire alarm.
I've experienced that like almost every year I've attended Anime Central. And we don't know if it's accidental or was done on purpose.
No, it's rowdy teens. I'm always gonna just go with rowdy teens.
But either way, the whole convention center had to be evacuated, so there were all these long lines just trying to get back in once everything was like clear and good to go.
Yeah, good
and
news.
you and I just decided to just hang out outside. Like, it's gonna be a while.
We were outside talking to some friends, doing a couple of photos, and then we got the news of that. We're like, well, why is everyone leaving the convention center? What's going on? And then word travels fast, and we're like, oh, rowdy teens.
Them kids.
Get off my convention lawn.
All right. Also, day 2, just kind of walked around the entertainment hall. They had the Guild of St. Michael, which is this Ren Fair group. They had like their weapons on display, and they were also just kind of giving like mini lectures on like each of the weapons and each of their functions. I didn't really stay too long in this area to see if they did any demonstrations, but I just thought it was just kind of cool just seeing like historical reenactors just kind of like just talk about the different weapons like during the medieval Renaissance era. It's also the entertainment hall is also a section where they had cosplay chess. Because I've done Anime Boston like just so many times, I'm so used to seeing cosplay chess like on the main stage.
Yeah.
And like here, it's like just kind of like one of those cosplay chess, those chess boards that you would like find like at a park or like at like I know there was this other hotel that actually had like a human chessboard too.
Mm-hmm. The nice part about it is it wasn't. I don't think it was roped off. So after the show, if you just wanted to like get photos of yourself on a chessboard because you thought that fits your character better, and there are plenty of anime series where they do have that chess motif artwork and what have you. It's kind of a cool kind of thing for that, but I still very much stand in the fact that should have been in like the ballroom that we were in, or no, it wasn't really a ballroom, but the large room we were used for the ball, or something like that. It should have had a little bit of more main stage presence.
Yeah, and this is just coming from the two of us,
events.
just having used to like seeing what cosplay chess is at Anime Boston. Maybe the cultures are different in Los Angeles, but I do appreciate they did like have like its own like section here at in the entertainment hall. All right, day 2, I did run into a couple fake cosplayers. Like I was like, yay, fake cosplayers! Yeah, like Maid Nero, Maid Mash, like yay. And also day 2, we did the Azurlane cosplay gathering, and that was it was small, and was very interesting to get to because like, how do we get to that section of Rainbow Lagoons? Like, okay, let's just go through the Hyatt lobby, and like just go through the restaurants,
and then go past the pool and down some stairs, and then we found it. This is not again. I'm gonna say it before. I'm gonna say it again. This is not a good location for photo shoots. It looks nice, and if you frame things properly, you have a cool little lagoon behind you, or you got some trees, or you got streets. But it doesn't work for trying to gather people en masse because most of them are going to be like me, and once they can't find it, they go, the heck, I'm going back inside. I'm going to just go to the entertainment hall and play some D&D.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I really like meeting the people at the Azurlane gathering, and they's like, yeah, we're going to do this all again at Anime X. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll have Hood ready to go because I'm actually working on Hood right now. So like, yeah, looking forward to it. And our eagle also just got a lot of attention because you and I were carrying our Eagle Union eagle puppet.
Mm-hmm.
I was cosplaying as Yorktown, your American Eagle Union commander.
Yep.
And this is the Yorktown I literally had to rebuild after Otakon after losing that dress. So you can watch the end of our convention tea for Otakon from last year to hear that story. But I'm very thankful to everyone who pitched in to restore my Yorktown dress. Like, granted, like, yes, I did raise $60 for it, which was more than enough. I very much appreciate that. But again, if you donated to helping me restore my Yorktown cosplay, thank you so much again. So very much appreciate it. Yorktown sales again. Mm-hmm. All right, Cosplay Wrestling Federation. This was the line outside, and now it's time for you to talk about Cosplay Wrestling Federation.
All right, so I am one of the cosplay superstars of the Cosplay Wrestling Federation. I go as King Gilgamesh, my loyal subjects. This is the second time wearing Gil for this event. I did last time I did it was for Anime Expo 2019.
Yeah, 2019. That's the last time we did Anime Expo.
Yeah. So this was the first event I think they've even had since then. It's one of the major events. I think they did some smaller stuff here and there, but this was like the first big one again. Because the original big trio was ALA, Fanime, and Expo. And so mistakes were made on my part. One of the things that I have is a wig for Gil for the, his hair when it's kind of like slick backed and kind of puffed out. It's his combat hair because yes, he has two different hairstyles based on his mode, combat or chill.
Like even Nero has like several different hairstyles because like I'm working on Nero right now and her idol hairstyle is different from her standard hairstyle.
Yep. As is her bridal hairstyle is different too. She's fashionable. And she has a lot of stage presence.
I'm looking forward to finishing her. Yay.
But the wig itself was way too tight. I don't know if it tightened up over the course of, not being worn for 2 years, or if there's other issues with the wig that we didn't know about, or my head expanded. Probably issues with the wig, because none of my other wigs have this problem. And I was like, oh, whatever. It's a little bit of pain for a couple hours. I'll be fine. No big deal. Biggest mistake of the entire con. This thing nearly killed me. And I know I'm being a little hyperbolic, but...
It nearly did.
It nearly did. So I went there, and I knew that I was already having issues when I got there because I was trying to remember people's names and faces. I'm like, oh, yeah, you go as... And they're like, Wario? I'm like, yes, we've met and talked before. I'm like, sorry, my head's just really hurting, and my brain's feeling a little frazzled. Went through the show, finally had my time to do my stuff on stage, which apparently went really well. Everyone said it turned out really good, and the crowd hated me, which is the goal of being a heel. Trying to leave the stage, I nearly collapsed. And then when I got behind the stage, I actually did almost, like I was trying to keep my balance as best I could, because the last thing you want to do is look like you're, falling over in front of everyone there, because that would be a massive liability. But we could go down the stairs and the thing. I tripped down the stairs, caught myself on the ground before I actually hurt myself, but... I was just bad for the rest of the show. I had to go back up stage. I could barely do that when we had to go back up stage for the last little few times we had to do that. And leaving, I had to have help to just get me back to the hotel room. And when I took the wig off, it was such a huge rush of blood to my head that I nearly passed out. Like, if you've ever had that where you're going on like a intense roller coaster or something like that, and you have that dizziness and you feel like you're about to black out, literally what I felt like just from the rush of blood to my head. I recovered, obviously. I'm fine here. I was able to recover later in the evening and just go off to a couple parties and spend time with friends, including the CWF crew, because they were throwing a little after get-together, and everyone was really worried about me, and I explained what happened, and like, oh man, we thought you were really sick or something else was happening. I'm like, yeah, this is just stupid. I had my alternate Gil wig. When she said, hey, you should just swap to that wig, and I was adamant about, no, it must be the same hair. That was really stupid of me, and I should have just gone with the other wig. It wouldn't have been his battle hair, but my brain would have been clear. I wouldn't have been fogged. I wouldn't have, fallen over a couple of times. So I guess the moral of the story is, if a wig is too tight, don't go thinking, I'm going to power through this. Go and say, okay, let's not wear this, and let's see if we have an alternate wig that'll kind of work, or something else.
Because you could have easily just gone as Craft Fest and Skill.
Yep. And I even told everyone the thing, it's like, when I bring back Gil, I'm just going to use the standard wig, and I'll get a crown or something else to
We'll figure it out.
Emphasize the kingitude, kingliness, kingosity.
Yeah, otherwise, I really had fun with the show. Spicy Burrito was there, and you had Lupin, you had Damioso, you had Sailor Moon. It was still a fun show. I was sitting with this family who brought their single digits of age kids.
It's super appropriate.
To this show, and they were also encouraging them to hold up signs. Josh on Hiki, and there was this like 5-year-old kid right next to me. He was just trying to feed me Pocky. He's like, "Do you want Pocky?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I can't share food during these times, but I appreciate your kindness." And then it's like, "Can I hold up the sign?" Like, no, we have to like hold the Fire Hiki sign when they're making fun of Hiki.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah,
that's fun. Like being like, I guess we'd call it wrestling parents who can tell their kids this is how you do it. Yeah, you don't hold up the Austin 316 sign when The Rock is talking. You hold it up when Austin is up there, and it's the same thing goes for this show because there's a lot of those wrestling tropes. I'm sure eventually there's gonna have a "Not My King" or something like that sign because after some people yelled "Not My King." During my section, I get the feeling when I return, it's like, we made a "Not My King" sign. I'm like, oh,
I'm very
good.
tempted to go with Saber, like just for a small event, because I have several Saber cosplays. And I do have Excalibur. I do want to upgrade my Excalibur sword, because I do keep my Excalibur with me for good luck, and I do name, I mean, come on here. I have like a Saber enamel pin at my desk.
Yeah. And any of the events, whether they're the smaller ones or the bigger ones, are usually pretty good because there's a lot of practice ahead of time to make sure everyone, knows their characters inside and out. I don't know what the next event is for them. I would promote it. I know Fanime for sure is going to have them. It's
Fanimania.
Words. But other than that, I'm not entirely certain what else they have planned. I would love to do more.
Even like an online show.
Even online should be fun. Wouldn't mind to do a smaller one. I already have characters in mind. Right now everyone's recovering from ALA, so I'm not going to go and mention those to anyone, but I will probably bring it up as we get closer to February and go, hey, here's some character concepts. Just wanted to talk those out with people.
Like, hi, I kind of want to go as Saber, and I also kind of want to go as Sailor Mars. Because when I heard, you guys were, losing people for the show, I was like, I can, throw on Sailor Mars if y'all need, one more heal.
Yeah, a handful of people had to didn't show up for the same reason a lot of people didn't show up, or guests had to cancel. Unfortunately, the pandemic is still a thing. But I like the fact that people chose to do that rather than say, oh, I'll just power through my sickness. That won't have consequences at all. Everyone, was being as safe as they could, and those who had to bow out were like, I'm really sorry, but there's so many things where I'm just so many whatever cases where I'm at, I feel really worried about that, and I don't want to be the guy who causes problems. And I appreciate that for everyone. Everyone put out their 110% for the show. And I think the show went really well. The audience seemed to really like it. The problem is because I was in so much pain and the way the body records information, when you're in pain, your body does not remember stuff. If you ever think about how much did it hurt when I had that last cold or when I broke my arm, you'll find it actually really difficult to remember it because that's how the brain works to protect you from pain. So I literally almost fell down and what have you. So it's just one of those I don't remember anyone's routines. I remember the lineup of the show because I had to know that for being part of the show. But
I remember what those kids were saying as call outs while wrestlers showed up. The 10-year-old behind me, he was like, Jigglypuff, go back in the Pokeball. And I think one of the wrestlers, I forgot who it was, says yeah, you're in the friend zone. And the 10-year-old kid was
so.
And then the kid was like,
the best friend zone.
And the kid was like, I hate it. I hate that place. And the mom just totally scolded him, where did you learn that? So I was very entertained by the 10-year-old just doing random call-outs.
I think the fun part for little kids is even if they don't get the character, they will get the energy that's going along with them. I'm sure the kids booed Gilgamesh. I'm sure the kids cheered for I can do this, people. Cheered for Winter Soldier or someone who would they would know from Marvel Comics or what have you, or Marvel movies because he's more like the movie version.
All right, just more day 2 shenanigans. We usually sometimes just went around the entertainment hall since it was just pretty much big open spaces.
It was really well done.
Yeah. So anything else about day 2?
Not a lot that was really on my schedule. I mean, I was really again, I was worried about I think a lot of us were with ALA CWF. Most people were worried about, oh, no one's going to show up, no one remembers us, and that wasn't where I was worried. I was worried I don't want to screw this up. The last thing I want to do is this is my second show, and I don't want to have a sophomore slump. I don't want to be there and have everyone come up to me oh, dude, I mean, your first one was great. You had that energy. This one, I don't know, man. Maybe you should just retire the character and try someone new. And, no one did that. Everyone's like, oh, man, I can't wait for the next Gil. What are you going to, go even more over the top and piss the audience off more? And I'm like, give me time. I can heal this to another level, I assure you. I'm going to have to go watch some old Ted DiBiase things. I need to go full rich jerk next time.
All right, let's go on to day 3. 4 days of this. All right.
It's a long event, and when we get to day 4, I'll have my stories.
All right, day 3. I think we did a lot more like walking around the dealer's hall. I know I kind of like just dipped into the dealer's hall every now and then. We stopped by this Super Dimension convention, which is happening in September. And I just really appreciated seeing like just a lot of the old Macross toys and figures. Like, we've never been to this convention before. We've had friends who've helped out. It usually just kind of follows like almost like around the same time as LA Comic Con. But I was talking to one of the promoters, and it's like, yeah, we'd love to have your history of giant robots panel at our convention, because it sounds like they really want to expand more than just outside of Macross, and also just have more of the classic like 80s giant robots shows featured at this event.
I'm down. This gives me an excuse to finally dress up like Ryoma from I Get a Robo. Just have crazy hair and a scarf.
And you spent most of your day 3 over at the tabletop section.
I really did. So my original plan was, okay, I have my 2 major obligations. After that, day 3 and day 4 is D&D, and that's it. Leave me alone. And unfortunately, when I went there in the morning, I found out that most of their D&D had been canceled because they didn't have enough DMs. And while I could have DM'd, I was still not like in the best of... It's day 3 of a convention.
You were in the right headspace.
I'm not in the headspace to run a game. If my brother and I were here, I'm sure like one of us could DM while the other could be like a player / technically co-DM in case one of us, gets forgetful or is too tired, can say like, oh, what about the such and such? Oh, yes, that's right. So as you're going, which having, someone in there who can just have your back in case you screw up is just generally helpful. So I just like, okay, what else they got going on? Well, as it turns out, they had another game I've been wanting to play and run for a while now called Dread. And Dread normally uses I believe they call it a block tower, but let's face it, it's a Jenga tower, and you can just use a Jenga tower, and it's the exact thing. General idea is, instead of rolling a d20 or anything like that, when you make a decision or do an action, you pull a block. And if the tower collapses, you dead. Or something else massively catastrophic occurs in the story. Well, that can be a pain to re-put the tower together after every time someone dies. It eats up a lot of time and what have you. And the person in charge is like, and also was trying to avoid too much human contact. Although I believe me and one of the other characters high-fived when we did something awesome. So whatever, human contact still happens. And none of us, we were all scrunched together. But I do remember the high five. Yes, we did it. She used a deck of cards, which was pretty cool for a way of doing that. And now that I've seen that done, I can do that, which means literally I can just get people together, do the story I want to do, or stories. I could come up with multiple throughout the year if anyone gets really into it. As long as people are fine with a high attrition game, you can have a lot of fun with this. And for the game we played, it was clown-based, but instead of the clown being the killer, the psychopath, whatever, we were the clowns. My character, I think, was called... Oh, God, what did I call him? I called him... like Arnold the Amazing or something like that. And his general premise was he wanted to be part of the Acrobats team, but because of an accident that occurred, he had to be forced to remain a clown, which he wasn't happy with. And then I had to put a little character quirk thing, and the character question was essentially, what is the one thing you refuse to do? And I put juggling, it's beneath me. So I'm just going to this arrogant clown going like, yes, I'll do my tumbling routine yet again until we can find the proper replacements so I can be where I'm supposed to be. It was fun. And we had a person who was like one of like the sword swallower guy. We had a person who was classically trained at like the French, clown / mime kind of school. We had the manager gal. Manager gal was, I think, on ALA staff. She was hilarious. She was being very much a manager. I don't know if that's like her real life job or what, but she was awesome. And then we had like someone playing the newbie. And we had one other dude. I don't remember what his gimmick was. Oh, he was working on a new routine and didn't want people to know what his new routine was. It was something like that. And we were all being hunted and killed, and of course someone makes stupid decision and I have to make a choice, and in the choice, of course, I got killed. in a very not as cool way as some of the other people, but it was a lot of fun. I kept taking the risks of like, yes, let's go get the lights back on. There's no reason to not turn on the generator. Yes, I know the killer is probably going to be near the generator. I get that, but if we don't turn on the generator, we're all in pitch black. It gives the killer way too much of an advantage. A lot of fun way of doing a storytelling, and honestly, the whole thing probably took about an hour and 45 minutes. It was a lot of fun, and generally put me in a good mood. And of course, learning a new game style puts me in a good mood too, because now we can actually play this and have high attrition, scary, spooky adventures.
Yeah. I also kind of went around on day 3. I did some photo shoots with a couple friends of mine. I was cosplaying as Setsuna Yuki. Also, day 3, we also decided to check out the food trucks. Okamoto Kitchen always has a long line. They didn't do any online pre-orders this time around. But we went to the waffle truck. And I was very sad because they ran out of bacon because I wanted to try the bacon cheese fries. Like, yeah, I need something very hearty right now. And what did you order from the waffle truck?
I got just the chicken and waffles. I actually kind of liked your. I think you just got the chicken fingers and fries. Those fries were so good.
It was like the best waffle fries I've had in a while.
The regular waffles were so. I had better like on Christmas when I was at the Blueberry Cafe. So which I ordered the exact same thing there too, and it was, oh god, amazing. The chicken was really good. The waffles were kind of so. Her fries were amazing, and I'm like, oh man, I should have just done the chicken and fries with you. That would have been way better. I didn't hate it. I'm not going to go and say like, oh, it was terrible. Go away. It was as the Eat the Magic guy, as my brother would call me. I basically say that the waffles are okay. You know, for something that's supposed to specialize in that, that's just like I expect a bit more. But oh my god, the chicken and fries are so good. Totally worth it.
Mm-hmm. And also, while you were gaming, I was, like I said, I was just wandering around the convention center, and I just kind of just did a little bit of people watching, just kind of just playing it safe, so I'm not in like major crowded areas. And I just forgot like just how beautiful of a place Long Beach Convention Center is for like photo shoots. You and I have attended Long Beach Comic Expo and Comic Con. Those aren't really cosplay heavy conventions.
They're not.
But like just even this bridge here, there's a lot of opportunity to get some really nice backgrounds. And a friend of mine during the day, we did some cosplay photos here on the bridge during the daytime, and with another friend I did cosplay photos in the evening so we can get that like night light, those city lights,
and the way the bridge lights up too is really nice.
And also while you were gaming, I attended the Love Live Gathering, which is also at gathering site number 2, the cursed gathering site. It was also funny too because a lot of the people trying to get into the meetup point was like, yeah, we're having a hard time just like finding this place and getting to this place because it's kind of funky. So yeah, so this is like the entire group shot because we had like several from Muse, a lot from Aquas, and a handful from Nijigasaki because I was also representing Nijigasaki as Setsuna Yuki, who's my current favorite. And it was just cool just hanging out with like Love Live people because I haven't done this in a while. Also, while waiting for their shoot, the Lupin the Third cosplay gathering people were just hanging out at gathering site number 2. I'm like, oh hey, Lupin cosplayers, this is pretty awesome. Like, how often do I see a Goemon cosplayer? I know you want to cosplay as a Goemon.
Yeah, he's been on my list for 2 decades now.
Okay, yeah, we'll make that happen this year somehow.
It's so comfortable. I just think I'm gonna look dumb in like the long hair. I usually don't look good in long hair wigs.
We'll figure it out. And then, like, here's a photo of you with your wrestling buddies at CWF because you were about to enter the World Series of Cosplay Poker.
Yeah, so one of the things that ended up happening is they had signups for D&D, like I said, and then it looked like, because I followed someone else, and I was just like, oh, maybe I'll play one of the other games. And I heard one of the guys talking, like, oh, I think we got one of our DMs in at the last minute or something. But I don't know if I misheard. And there was like a handwritten, on the sign-up thing, like a handwritten part that said 6 o'clock. And I was like, oh, I'll add my name to that 6 o'clock one. Hopefully this isn't really a thing and not, something that's going to be a complete mess. And then I ran into a few of the guys from CWF, and they were like, oh, dude, Jared, we're going into Cosplay Poker Challenge. Come on, you got to join us. Because, I was in cosplay, not as my CWF character. And I think we had Spicy Burrito Man, I think, was there. Skeletor, current champion, and Bucky, yes. And then me. Not in my Gil outfit, although I could have Had I known, I probably could have changed to casual guild, but I was
You have casual and you also have New Year's
and
kill.
I had New Year's as well, but I didn't want to put all the New Year's layers. And I was just wearing Bright Noah from Gundam, and we ended up all getting in on different tables, and I was like, looking at the time, going like, it's 4:30 or something. All right, that's fine. I'll just go here. I'll probably get wiped, in like half an hour, maybe an hour, and then I'm just gonna go and wait it out to see if that D&D game actually happens.
Several hours later.
So as it turns out, I won the first round, and I got to go into the winner's round. So that was a thing. I didn't expect that to happen. It was really down just between me and one other person, and we were both more conservative players, which is probably why we both survived. But I basically, the way I won is I got down to almost next to nothing, and then had a roll that was so good that it just kept going until we were about equals. And then a good hand came up, and I just said, all in? And he's like, yeah, let's do this. And flipped our cards, and I beat him like by that much. It was a good match, and I won that, and everyone's like, yeah! And then in round 2, same kind of thing. I kept just being chipped away, and I'm just basically there at the end. And the guy just keeps doing like the, oh yeah, what's his maximum? It's like, the host says it, and he's just like, all right, you matching that? I'm like, and I just got a few lucky hands. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And if I lose, whatever, at least I'm like the second best person here. Slowly but surely went through, and then it got to that point again. I was probably a little bit ahead of him, and he just did the crazy. He was going for a straight, and he was gonna try to psych me out. So he just put it up, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna try to psych me out. I still have enough money that even if I go in as much as he has, I'll still have something left. So let's do this. Because we were both going for a straight, and his straight failed. I got a pair of 5s, and I won on a pair of 5s on the river, which is the last card, which means technically it would have been high card between the two of us, which I believe mine was like a king or a queen, which wasn't bad. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh god, I think I just made a huge mistake. And then last card comes up, it's a 5. I'm like, it's like, all right, you have to show your cards. Pair! And the guy's like, dude, you won on the river. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, ah. So it's like the first time I ever won. Anything like that. I was super hyped for it. I've been told, everyone's like, you got to go back next year and win again. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
Title.
The guy I beat was the former 2 years in a row champion. So he won 2 years in a row. I've won 1 year. So now I got to defend myself. I've already found this guy who's going to help me be better at poker. His name is Terry Silver, and he's just like, he'll teach me how to poker or die trying. And then he clarified and said that I'll die trying, which I was like, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to defending my championship with this help with this Terry Silver guy. He seems like he's on the level.
Also, you're cosplaying as Bright, and you ran into the Char Aznable cosplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It made me happy to see a Char Aznable cosplayer.
It kind of made me sad that there was no Gundam gathering, because I was told that people kept seeing Gundam characters. I was like, oh, it must have been a Gundam gathering today.
Here, Saturday, we got, like, Ramble Rawl also here, too, because I told, like, yeah, like, my husband's running around as a Bright. Well, technically, he's, like, sitting on his butt playing games as Bright.
Yeah. playing tabletop and then winning at poker.
And then you and Craig, you kind of just decided to just walk around e-gaming. What were your thoughts on that?
Both of us were relatively disappointed. He was more in the point of wanting to see more, DDR and the rhythm game stuff, which I could care less. But, because I care just a little.
I enjoy rhythm game stuff. I like watching people doing it.
Yeah, it can be fun to watch. I'm not particularly good at it, but I have seen people do like the crazy stuff, especially if you get the people who freestyle and they just like, they know the song so well, they're just doing it like with a handstand or something crazy like that. And that's the reason I could care less. There's a little bit of room to not care. And everything else was just kind of weak. I mean, there's the standard stuff, Smash and, Street Fighter and whatever. But
I was curious to try out that Phantom Breaker game because there wasn't a lot of people lined up for it because they were doing demos of Phantom Breaker. It's like this anime style fighting game. Like, hey, this looks pretty neat. I know some of the people involved in it. And I'm like, but I don't feel too motivated to do it because it was a very... When the tabletop area is larger than the e-gaming, I have questions.
Yeah. And that's kind of sad. I expected that zone to be bigger. It usually is.
Well, maybe it was like benefit of the doubt, maybe because a couple people had to just bail on e-gaming at the last minute.
Like how that happened with tabletop. That's why they had more tables, was because, oh, we have a staff that's large enough too. We just lost half our staff.
And here's your winning hand here. if anyone's curious.
You can see the straight that almost was for both of us.
Hey, like, we got some folks in the chat like, hey, I made it. Yeah, your photo's coming up soon, Fat Boy Cosplay. And then Cobra Kai, Terry Silver. Dang, Terry Silver from Cobra Kai?
Yeah, he said he's going to train me or kill me in the process. So we'll see how that goes.
Apparently E-Gaming had GoldenEye.
Oh, nice. I'm sure there was some good stuff there. I just looked around. I'm like, this seems kind of weak. And ALA has had
Phantom Breaker.
some really good ones. The other issue that happened to me for the after the poker tournament is because I'm prone to migraines, and one of the triggers can be extremely loud noise. They had multiple bands playing and like a drumming routine, and by the end of poker, I was in so much pain with that final hand. I think it was in half my brain was like, you know what? If he gets that straight and I lose, fine. Take my money. I don't care.
In Ontario, tabletop was in a separate like hotel ballroom kind of thing. Because I remember like being there on the last day, like there was this kid's like, hey, we're doing like a one-shot campaign. Do you want to join us? Like, I kind of have to drive back to where I'm from because my friends want to do dinner at Curry House. Rest in peace, Curry House. But I hope like in the future they consider like using like a hotel ballroom for like tabletop, because especially with like role-playing games, especially kind of like, I need like high focus concentration. I can't be like distracted, you know?
Well, and plus when someone's playing, it gets really loud. So it's one of those ones where even in poker, we started doing the things of standing, or there's different hand gestures and stuff you can make for the different things you're doing, whether you're hitting, you're calling, you're standing, that kind of stuff. So it became not hitting. That's blackjack. Whether you're raising, calling, or just standing, you have those options there, and we had to use the hand signals in order to actually play the game. And then half the time I'm like, oh god, it's my turn now, isn't it? Because I'm in like pain and just trying to listen, and I'm like, it's like they're like, 3 blues and a black. I'm like, let's do it.
I mean, I do appreciate like the entertainment hall like having like indie bands perform on stage, and I felt like that would have been much more suited for like the ballroom dance kind of room where they already had a concert room.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I thought that would have been more appropriate for that kind of space. But I also feel that a tabletop just kind of needs to be like its own ballroom kind of type thing.
Yeah. I know there were some game tournaments going on. One of the guys at the poker tournament was also in the Smash tournament, and actually was doing really well in the Smash tournament to a point that he was kind of in that position of going like, and just started making like foolish bets just to like get out, because he's like, I need to just have my focus be Smash.
I need to try very hard at losing.
Yeah.
Also, like, another staple of California anime conventions, there's these guys that have, like, these voting kind of a poll type things. So, it was NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys. I voted for NSYNC because I was an NSYNC person back in high school. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you voted, but They gave me an I voted sticker, so I put that on my badge.
Because for me, neither band means anything. If that was, like, Megadeth versus Metallica, we'd have another discussion going, but not Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC doesn't do anything for me. I could probably name one song from each band, and I don't even know if I'd have the right song title. But
okay, let's give it a try.
Okay, so Backstreet's Back All Right.
Obviously.
Which I don't know if that's the title of the song, but it's the lyric in the song. Which feels very arrogant, because I'm like, where did you guys go before that? Or has Backstreet always been a thing? Is that like a phrase that I've never heard before?
There was a lot of jokes about that when that song came out.
Yeah, because it feels like if it was their second album, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
It was their second album, because I have not heard of the first album.
Okay,
well then, they're back. Back from what?
Yeah. And then NSYNC, I think they did that Space Cowboy song you played for me.
I love that Space Cowboy song.
So, and I need to AMV that as something stupid eventually.
No Strings Attached is like one of my favorite albums.
So, yeah. And I know one of the two of them did Larger Than Life, and I only know that song because of Napoleon Dynamite.
All right, so day 3, evening. You decided to just take it easy after your winnings.
Well, I was in a migraine land, but a super happy land as well, which is a weird combination, people. Don't try to be in massive pain and happy at the same time. It'll mess with you.
And I just, decided to just wander around the convention. Masquerade was going on, and I was just kind of just waiting for, like, Masquerade to exit, because maybe I can get some photos of the contestants, because, I really like seeing a lot of the cosplays. I know I took a photo of the Kokomi from Genshin Impact that entered in. That was very beautiful. And there was this Gen X type dude sitting like in the main convention center lobby, and he was just kind of like just giving away ribbons for ribbon trading, and he had like this contest on like, okay, can you guess, as you see in the photo, can you name 7 out of the 9 anime pictured in this poster? I was able to name Astro Boy, Kim the Lion, Princess Knight, Gigantor, Speed Racer. I don't know the rest of them. So like, if any of y'all know any of these folks, any of these anime tunes like from way back when, drop them in the comments because I want to see if you know. And if you got 7 out of 9, you got this old school ribbon. So ALA, they're very much known for ribbon trading. And let me bust out my ribbons here that I keep in my office drawer.
Yeah, mine's full. I was gonna bring up my badge, but it's like I need to re-glue everything or something. And get my model glue out. Just model glue that damn thing.
So ribbon trading at ALA. So I got one for this channel right here. I also got one for my main convention reports website, and if you're Filipino, you got the Mabuhay bitches ribbon here, based on an inside joke that just kind of ran with it. And so day 3, you can see like all these people gathered here in convention center lobby, and we're all just trading ribbons with one another. So ribbons are like currency at Anime Los Angeles. And when I was talking to the dude who was doing the old school ribbon thing, he told me about the origins of ribbon trading. They actually originated from Gallifrey 1, which is a Doctor Who convention.
I can see that because you can make so many different things connected to Doctor Who.
You can make so many Doctor Who memes. And like, I know because we used to be really into Doctor Who, but then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of like when Gallifrey 1 started, but that would have been like in the 80s or something, I think.
Way back when, like...
So you probably only had, 7, maybe 8 doctors when it first started. So not only do you have, you could do one for every doctor, but then you have how many companions? You have how many alien species? How many planets? Yeah, you can make a whole ton for that. And that would actually be a lot of fun because maybe you had staff members cosplay it or something, or maybe, you went to the panel with, such and such, and now you get that character ribbon or something for going to the panel. I mean, I could see how that could work, and that could be a lot of fun trying to just see how many companions, doctors, and aliens you could collect throughout the entire adventure.
Yeah, so he was telling me like the origin started here at the Doctor Who conventions, and then it kind of spread out to sci-fi and fantasy conventions, which I've seen because I've attended One World Con. I've kind of walked by Lost Con just to say hi to my friends during Thanksgiving weekend who were visiting, and I did see like a lot of ribbons just kind of trailing off. Anime Los Angeles is like the one anime convention that does ribbon trading, and a lot of the ribbons are like just meme based, or if you wanted to earn a ribbon, you had to name like something from that fandom. So for example, when my friend was giving out Decepticon ribbons a couple years ago, you had to name 3 different Decepticons.
Easy enough.
Or if you wanted to go more advanced, name 3 of Soundwave's cassette tapes.
Which I can only do 2 off the top of my head.
Same here, I can only do 2.
Way too long. But I can name 3 Decepticons with no real trouble.
And there was also just random ones like Pixie Dust. So you had to name 3 fairies. And I named Elton John, Liberace, and Neil Patrick Harris.
Yep, you did that.
Yes, like they didn't specify what kind of fairies. Yeah, I agree with Janai in the chat. Megadeth because Lars became an old geezer when it came to... Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
it's his
because
ego.
The Napster thing, that hurts Metallica a lot. I'd go Megadeth as well.
Yeah, just kind of like slowly just perusing through the chat.
Plus, eventually I want like, P-Cells or something like that to be like a CWF entry theme for me when I can find a character that would work for.
Yeah, I got one ribbon for quitting Princess Bride, easiest ribbon to earn.
Yeah.
Okay, day 3. Do I have anything else? Oh, yes, I do have more stuff for day 3.
Yeah,
well, I was wandering around.
A lot more.
I didn't get to see like any of the cosplayers come out from Masquerade because I'm Filipino, so I had to go to the karaoke room because that's just a thing for our culture.
Sheer amount of eye rolls I'm gonna get out of this.
So this is like the one time I went to the ALA karaoke room, and this is just the most fun I had at karaoke in a while because I haven't done like an anime con karaoke. For those of you tuning in who come from like a sci-fi Comic-Con type of background, we have karaoke rooms at anime conventions, and you can sing like stuff like popular music stuff. So as long as we can find like the video on YouTube, you can sing along. And I know you remember this because we were in an Uber from our Brownstone to Anime Boston. And do you remember this country song, I'm Still a Guy?
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, and the shy guy came up and decided and went up and sang that.
I like when
this is the context of that photo.
Yeah, I like when people have like a character wherein this could actually really work. Like, you know, my mind just went blank on songs, and I guess I'd have to have a character first to think about, and then you get a song with that. But like, yeah, my mind's
It'll
blank.
eventually get to you.
So I'm trying to go through like the characters from Demon Slayer, and I'm like, okay, can't be an anime song. You got to go with like a song in English.
No, I would have gone as Shinobu and done Poison by Alice Cooper.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. That'll work.
Note to self: go as Shinobu at Cosplay Lip Sync and enter in with Poison. And there's also Poison by Belle Div DeVoe.
Yeah, one of those songs is better than the other.
Yes. I really like going to the karaoke rooms, especially like in the evening, because a lot of wild stuff can happen. I remember like back at PMX, yeah, it was at PMX, someone decided to put on the Big O theme song, and everyone just kind of like just danced around in a circle and just started like just saying Big O, because there's like no lyrics to that song.
Because the series was rushed through production.
And one time a friend of ours, they entered in the wrong karaoke track number and they wanted to do something else, so they ended up singing I Will Survive, and they just went with it. So yeah, I just had like just a lot of fun at the karaoke room. Also, like, there was this dude who did a song from Berserk, and there were like only 2 people in the karaoke room, including myself, who knew what Berserk was.
Don't know
So
what to say. Oh yeah, it's a fun song.
Yeah, so basically, you can, as long as the song can be found on YouTube, they'll project the video onto the screen.
Got it. Me going up as Gil and singing "Princes of the Universe" by Queen.
That'd be funny.
Invite all the Fate people to come up here.
And
there
be
can
a
be
saber
only
face
one.
falling.
That'd be great.
Or you can do Bow Down to the King by Motorhead.
That could work too.
So, as long as you had the video, so basically, we found a video that had Tell Me Why from Berserk. It was the entire song, so basically, it was showing clips from the 1997 anime.
Which is funny.
When red stuff started showing, when red stuff was like on the screen, and you can feel that, like, oh my god, it's from that last episode. That's so trippy.
It's the eclipse.
And you are bracing for your life that you do not see bad things happen to characters.
Yeah,
we're laughing right now.
That's because it's hilarious. Like the thought of like having this super not safe for work part of the video come up in a song that's generally like it's kind of downbeat, but it's like this weird pop song that feels really not suitable for Berserk. Like, you think of Berserk, you get like a metal, thing, which would make a lot of sense. No, you get this like weird pop song choice that so doesn't fit the theme or feeling of Berserk. And then if you're putting in footage from the series, you're eventually gonna get to those like last 2-3 episodes of the eclipse, or just spoilers, everyone dies. And not in like fun, like, oh, this is kind of a silly way to, no, in like the worst ways possible. Use your own imagination. And that to me is hilarious because someone made that video for that purpose. It wouldn't be like, for example, if I did this theme from Mazinger or something, it's just going to be a giant robot shooting its fist at monsters, okay? It's going to be shooting a laser out of its chest. We'll probably see Aphrodite or the Diana or something like that fire off the Opie missiles and things like that. Like, we would just have silly robots blowing up monsters. But when you have something like Berserk and someone makes the cognitive choice to say, but for the last minute of this song, we need to show the eclipse.
Luckily, we didn't see anything from the eclipse, but we saw like things that were foreshadowing the eclipse. Like, oh my god!
So it showed the demons and stuff, but it didn't show them doing their thing.
Bad things happening. So like I was just kind of like just bracing. I was just like just bracing for that moment.
I
Like,
wonder if it's that one, because I don't know if it's a group or whatever, but there's a whole load of like mecha songs from various mecha animes from the 70s all the way to nowish, and they do like nice 4K like clips from it. Like that's how I go and listen through a lot of the old school themes that I just personally like. I wonder if it's like that. I wonder if that's a group that just does that.
yeah, just going into chat. Like, yeah, it was a long wait for songs. I think they were telling me it was like between like 90 minutes to like 60 minutes, so I didn't bother signing up. Like I'll just vibe with them, people here. And also in the chat, Fat Boy Cosplay wanted to sing "Mama and Coming Home" by Ozzy. I know you've done an AMV to that.
I have.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, here Janai says, I cosplay like a bad guy and sing Careless Whisper by George Michael. Yeah, let's see, I did a guitar cover of Take On Me as Angus Young on Friday. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like I didn't get to sing, but it's okay. I'll just vibe with everyone here. And someone did I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. And like, oh my god, I have not seen Armageddon in a while. But yeah, that was just my my Saturday night. It's like, okay, I'm having fun here, and I'll just get back at midnight so I can just pre-pack everything ready to go, because I usually do that like on the Saturday before we leave, just so I can have everything go and you know just have like a nightcap or two and just conk out for the rest of the evening. So day 4, something I wanted to mention is the odd hotel artwork choices. So we stay at the Renaissance. And it had freighter, it had cargo dealies, like, has, like, the artwork as the aesthetic. I'm like, what? Okay, that is a choice. Thank you for, like, reminding me that I have things that are just floating in the ocean just being waited to be, like, picked up. Mm-hmm. So that was a choice. So day 4, you went out to cosplay as house husband, and you went out to pick prize.
Yeah, because part of my winnings was a few of the little they have little prize tickets, and I won a couple for I think it was like 10 for winning the first round and 25 for winning the second, which 35 points is enough to buy quite a few interesting items. Ended up getting a deck of cards. It's a Avengers themed one because the other two were freaking Star Wars. I was hoping that there was an anime themed one. That would have been cool. Apparently, the only other one they had was a James Bond one that someone had already picked up.
We have 3. Bond sets already.
Yeah. I wish there was because like if I could have gotten a Lupin or like a Gundam set of cards, that would be huge. But I got a set of cards because poker, and then I got this little tiny like vase thing.
Like a sake.
Yeah, so it's like a fancy sake thing, decorative, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I grabbed those 2 things to be able to be the representation of my winnings. And for anyone who cares, the other prize they give you is a badge for next year, but since I'm probably going to be staff...
Most likely going to be staff.
Or something along those lines, I was like, well, having this just doesn't serve a purpose to me, so I gave it to the runner-up, who was the previous champion, because he was talking about some of the bad luck stuff he'd been dealing with. I'm like, hey, dude, here you go. You can have it. Sure. Yeah, take it.
Pass on the karma. I was also cosplaying as Shinobu from Demon Slayer on the last day. Easy cosplay to get in and out of. And when the prize patrol, like, staff members is cosplaying as Gyu, which is also on your cosplay list.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, so we just kind of just posed for a quick photo outside. I was, like, taking pictures of cosplayers, like, you know, we're from the same thing, yay. And with this con, it's not too hard to find folks from Demon Slayer.
No, it is not.
So
it's one of the easier things to do.
We did one last peruse around the dealer's hall before, like, just packing it up and just heading back. You found a James Bond Jr. pistol.
Yeah.
And here's a photo of you. You can't probably see it here, but there was a James Bond Jr. pistol going for like 65.
Yeah, like a toy booth with some older toys, and I was like, "Is that legit?" And you're like, "It is."
Yeah,
and I'm
is
like,
legit.
What? Yeah. I think this is gonna be a decent time to talk about the dealer hall. I thought the dealer hall was generally good. Mm-hmm. It was better organized than one of the previous events we went to. I won't shame an event publicly if I don't have to.
I like how like section 1 is, section 1 is just like your shops, and then like the next section is like Artist Alley. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of beautiful things at Artist Alley. I was so happy to see like a lot of Genshin, like acrylic charms. I just want to be conservative with money because I had some real life stuff happen like during the cons. Like I want to just be conservative with money right now. So I ended up getting a Genshin Tarot deck. And because tonight is the full moon, I will be doing a reading. So if you're following me on my socials, I will be posting my 3-card spread of like what does the wolf moon hold for us.
For me, back in the day, ALA was always my excuse to buy a figure because no one in my family would get me a figure for Christmas, and rarely a significant other would get me a figure for Christmas. So that was always my day to get a figure. But now I'm at a stage wherein, my brother, and between my brother and you, I get enough figures and Gunplas that I don't really have to worry about it. But I always go with my rule that if I see a rare Gunpla that I want, I'll grab it. And went to the Gunpla booth, talked with the dude. I don't, were they Bluefin or were they some other?
No, there were some other people.
Other people. And we were actually just going back and forth. And I was talking about like units I really want to see. And he's like, oh, do you have the revived version of the Goof? Because we got into talking about the Goof, of course. And I said, no, I think I have the older one. He's like, yeah, get the revived one. It's so much better. And I'm like, yeah, my goal is to get that and then paint my old one Midnight Fenrir colors or something like that. But for the time being, I just kind of looking at them going like, yeah, it's some decent stuff here, more than I usually see, which was nice, and priced at an appropriate price because that can sometimes be an issue as well.
Yeah, I also got an enamel pin right here from Final Fantasy XIV Black Mage class. I have friends who are nudging me to get into Final Fantasy XIV. And the reason why I got a Black Mage pin is because back in university, my roommates, we were like drawing ourselves as like JRPG characters just so we can have our profiles and contact information like on the refrigerator. And they happen to associate me with a Black Mage. So I'm like, okay, yeah, Black Mage is my thing. And yeah. So just I bought a couple of enamel pins. I believe I also got some from I didn't get anything from Genshin, but a lot of these artists I do see at California conventions, and I do see them like at a lot of these pop-up like conventions that have been like happening at local malls, or like, okay, let's have like this car show and have like an artist alley. I'm like, okay, I'll see them there. And if I want to like just get my Genshin Impact like acrylic fix, I could always just stop by them. But I wanted to just if something was like just calling out to me like, oh, that sparks joy, I'll go ahead and pick it up, rather than the previous couple of conventions like, okay, I want that. There was a lot of good things at LA Comic Con. So like we got like boba scented candles, and I still light those up. All right, Fat Boy Cosplay, this is your photo, and he's in the chat right now.
Hello. I'm just gonna wave.
Like, he also saw the James Bond Jr. gun. And he also does tarot reading too. Awesome. So yeah, he was our buddy here, Fat Boy Cosplay, was cosplaying from Universal Soldier. Also, same director from Independence Day, Roland Emmerich.
It's a great movie.
It is.
It's one of the best Van Damme action movies. I hold it up there with Time Cop and Bloodsport in terms of just the best JCVD movies.
Yeah, and you were saying that like his next cosplay should be from Time Cop.
Yeah. Because I know that if I told my brother I ran into someone doing Universal Soldier, he'd immediately go, "What? Wait, you didn't do Time Cop?"
Yeah, so like it's really cool, like just meeting like friends you've only met online when we're starting to go back like into like in-person conventions. So yeah, it was just like just always just cool, like just seeing friends like, hey, like I know you like from the online land. Now we're all here together and stuff. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, just slowly just getting back to the thing of cons, and soon I'll also meet like all my Genshin friends at Anime Boston and all that fun stuff. Yeah, slowly everyone is just coming back together.
It's nice.
All right. Next slide. And just one final like last vibe photo, just leaving Anime Los Angeles. We left before noon. Again, I had to like just take care of like real life stuff after the convention. Fun fact, I was at this convention without a phone. That was wild.
And not one of those, oh, I left it at home things. The phone is gone.
Yes.
It is kaput. It is an X-phone.
My phone is gone.
It has ceased to be.
So we left before noon so I can take care of some real life stuff, and also just like us just going to just back down to Orange County and hopefully get something like really hearty to eat. Just kind of like just end our day. We were very sad that Rock Bottom Brewery, one of our go-tos in downtown Long Beach, was closed, because otherwise like, yeah, we would have done that for lunch, but like, oh man, it's
which
closed.
would have been nice and hearty, and I probably could have used a microbrew.
And then, because we were taking Uber back home, so I'm like, okay.
I'm not driving.
Yeah, I'm not driving either. And what was it? And then like, okay, let's just go grab curry close to my parents' house, but they weren't doing like dine in. They were only doing like a takeout and delivery. It's like, okay, I would have to order online. And I did get a new phone, but my phone wasn't set to like order online because like, okay, I had to download apps. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, like, okay, let's just go grab some boba. And let's just kind of like just grab some greasy chili cheese fries and just nosh on that back down in Orange County. So like you always got to have your comfort food just in your con.
Yeah, and just me in the car just dead. You could have put sunglasses on me and I could have done a really good weekend at Bernie's cosplay.
And meanwhile, I was listening to Dr. Dre and Eminem. All right, let's just talk about our final thoughts about Anime Los Angeles 17 or Anime Los Angeles 2022.
So the one thing I foreshadowed at the beginning was that we had our issues with this convention, and you can go to a lot of our old written reports and see why. And I'm not going to get into it here as to what our issues were, but I will say that many of our issues were resolved. It does feel like there's been some sort of change up in the staff, and this is all for the better. The convention feels like a convention now and not just an excuse for a bunch of cosplayers to get wasted. I'm a little too old to be underage drinking, unfortunately.
Oh, your teacup is right there. Your teacup in the Lord Lad cup.
Yep. And, being able to see that the e-gaming definitely felt hobbled. But tabletop has grown. The entertainment hall was really well done, although having a stage where someone can jam on a guitar, being not all that far from where people are trying to play tabletop, is not the best choice. I also feel it probably caused issues during cosplay chess as well, just because of how that's set up. I will say that, people were behaving better. Everyone was having a lot of fun. It seemed like everyone was really there to be like, oh my gosh, I'm at a con again, and this feels like normal life. I miss this. The dance had, I believe the door guard person told us that on their count, over the course of the night, they would have filled, if had everyone just stayed, they would have filled the room to twice capacity, which is great to see. A whole load of people filled up the room for CWF. I saw several gatherings that looked to have quite a few people, though not in the gathering number 2
zone. The Genshin meetup was like, whoa.
Yeah. It really felt good. And I think I was sitting there at a certain point going like, I want to say I'm enjoying this con, but I don't want to go and like jinx it and have everything go terrible. So I didn't say I enjoyed the con until afterwards.
I really enjoyed Anime Los Angeles 17. I was actually quite surprised because I went in just feeling a little bit, okay, first and foremost, I'm here as staff. I'm going to focus on my staff duties, maintaining the ballroom dance, just exercising the leadership that I've been given. And I think all of us on our team did an amazing job. And I wouldn't mind staffing again and helping out the ballroom dance or any other ancillary ballroom events our buddy Craig wants to hold. We do have a ballroom dance in Southern California coming up in April. And I just found out the day after the convention that there is a ballroom outfit for Lisa from Genshin Impact. It's like this gothy, like, witchy dress. Like, okay, I'll consider it.
Sounds on brand.
Yes. And I just miss, just helping out with, events and just kind of also just taking up leadership. And after this convention, I'm okay. Like I said a couple times on the show, hi, Jez, Faye, mentor me. I'm ready to take leadership because I feel like I'm just really ready to take on that role at conventions. And I've had my issues with Anime Los Angeles in the past. I never always did not like it because, again, I had some really amazing memories of Anime Los Angeles in the past, but a lot of that party atmosphere just really killed it for me, and a lot of the staff being complicit to attendees' behaviors and not wanting to do anything about it, that really bothered me. And I did not feel safe at a convention where the staff was okay with a lot of these dangerous and behaviors going around, even though, hey, you can do something about this.
And I'm going to put just my little minor point on this one. It's not that we're against parties or anything like that. Heck, we went to a couple. It's more the point of seeing cosplayers who are clearly underage stumbling through the lobby of the hotel, looking completely blasted,
Homesick
and
cosplayers jumping in the hot tub.
stuff like that. People making terrible decisions. God knows, how many women or men got taken advantage of at the cons. No one really reported anything major, but I'm sure people have stories because that's usually how these things go. And no one's sitting there going like, okay, guys, it's all fun to have fun, but let's not take it too far. Let's not, destroy the hotel while trying to have fun. And that's the kind of partying we're against.
Like, yeah, you can party safely, and I even had like guidelines like how we can achieve this, but I just kind of felt like, oh, you're like the narc, you're like the misery chick. I'm like, whatever, I'll turn my back on that, and I'll wait, because life has taught me like, go where you're valued, and at the time I didn't really feel valued. Here I have an amazing ballroom staff that values us, and I'm like, okay, I'm down. And ALA 17, if I'm looking at it just from like as its own thing, just without regarding our issues in the past, I thought it was very well run. I really liked the variety in the dealer's hall. I liked the variety of artist alley. I really liked the Long Beach as a location. We probably need to fix some of the gatherings over in the Rainbow Lagoon. I like Long Beach for its photos, a lot of the photo opportunities. I didn't check out too many panels because there was like a lot of panels that were like, okay, this isn't happening because panelists had to drop out, and I didn't really want to be like in like small confined spaces. I just wanted to I was more focused on just people watching and just enjoying the vibe and just kind of taking it easy because I had a lot of staffing. I had a lot of stress going on. It's like, okay, I'll just enjoy the vibe. And you know what? I ended up enjoying Anime LA. I just wish I could have busted out another Genshin cosplay because there was like a lot of Genshin cosplayers there. And I know in every convention we talk about like, yeah, what was the most popular fandoms represented? Genshin, Demon Slayer. Those are the two major ones. I mean, I did see a handful of Tokyo Revengers. I still need to watch that series on HBO Max.
I saw several My Hero people.
Yes. Not as much as I remember seeing a couple years ago. I mean, we also have some My Hero Academia cosplays, but we haven't really worn them. I think we usually bust those out for like Comic Cons.
Well, because
the anime
the only one I currently have is the track one. I only wear it during the summer because there's no sleeves or anything, so I can not overheat while wearing a track suit.
Yeah, but you know what? We enjoyed it. We don't mind helping out again next year. I think you and I were joking around like, yeah, I just kind of feel like this brand of ALA is a recovering alcoholic. I think that's how we just worded it, which is kind of like just as a joke. But yeah, I mean, again, wouldn't mind just coming back again for it. And it's going to be again at Long Beach next year, first weekend. I'm probably going to like just check into karaoke a little bit earlier just so I can get like my name in there. But yeah, the wait is pretty long. So... But I always enjoy vibes at karaoke because I really think like no other convention does it better than like an anime convention karaoke room, especially if you have one that is open till like late into the evening hours. All right, let's just kind of like just look at just some of the last words in the chat. Went to Universal Studios. We need to go to Universal Studios again.
It would be nice to return.
Yeah, be nice to return. Chicken and waffles. Oh, from Roscoe's? Because I know there's a Roscoe's not too far from the convention center.
That would have been my better choice.
Let's see. Janai's like, I'm the most sober roomie after the dance, dinner, and bed. Yes, it'd be hard for me to get to ALA. It's the same. Yes, it is the same weekend as CES. Like a lot of my Vegas friends. They were talking about attending CES.
I miss CES.
I love CES.
I just liked going and seeing like all the audio displays and the cameras. It was just a huge thing for me. And then weird stuff like when they were using liquid nitrogen to cook and stuff like that.
That was wild.
I was like, all right, I'm down. Let's do it.
Otherwise, if you're in Southern California and if you have the time, definitely recommend Anime Los Angeles 18. Oh, they're turning 18 next year.
Cool. The con can vote.
The con can vote. Well, I think the con's old enough to get its learner's permit and drive in the state of California. Now that's 17.
Yeah.
I know the laws like changed a lot like when I was getting my license. Because I remember All right. That is it for another edition of Convention Tea. Who knows what our next event's going to be? Because Anime Marketplace, that's happening in Little Tokyo in March. WinterCon, that's happening first weekend of April, but we will be in Florida. But we are taking a red-eye flight that Saturday of WinterCon to Florida. So we'll see what happens. And Anime Boston is definitely like on our roster. Like we won't be doing Fanime, but we do have commitments with Anime Boston already. Partially because it's food themed this year. Yeah, Anime Boston, they're maintaining their food theme that we're gonna have in 2020. So, I have some ideas for cosplay lip sync. I always look forward to their cosplay lip sync. Obviously AX, Otakon, that's also happening during the summer. So we're looking forward to Otakon. Their theme this year is time skip. And yeah, so if you have any other thoughts about Anime Los Angeles, feel free to drop that in the comments. But otherwise, this has been Scarlett.
And Jay.
And we will see you at the con. Thank you so much for tuning in.